Lessons have been learned about dealing with waifus in an anime like Shangri-La Frontier, because goddamn Psyger-0, we knew she packed a mean punch. She had the authority, it wasn't just armor for show, but we get to see exactly what happens when you try to deal with her future man. Hell, she doesn't even really talk to this guy IRL. She wants to, but you know, Sunraku be built different. He'd be playing those trash video games and they're just too difficult for her to deal with. So to finally have a video game that she's legitimately good at and extremely well respected, but unable to find him, usually in moments like these, you would feel like, okay, the MC got saved in a very, of course he did moment. Like, he's the MC, something magically fell on his lap. But this girl's been hustling since pretty much the beginning to find him, and the fact that she actually had legitimate intel to locate him came in, like there was no way he was getting out of that alive. Honestly, I like the rescue, and I'm really excited to see what they're going to do going forward with this dynamic. Now I do a full live reaction to Shangri-La Frontier Episode 6 over on my Patreon, so if you would like to see that, it's over there if you're interested. This was a great episode. Like, I'm always legitimately surprised when the episodes end. Like, when the credits started playing, I was like, no way, man. Like, I legitimately thought we were halfway through the episode. And even the little gags that we get at the end, the little simplified moments, like they sometimes are just goofy, cute little moments, or in the case of this episode, they legitimately are interesting world building. Like the idea that there's like limiters on flavors, right? So things kind of have like a generic taste. There's not really a lot to it. It's not plain, but there's not really a lot of elegance to it. And the idea of him trying to slam back all those cheeseburgers only to eat a legendary carrot in order to unlock, you know, high level foods to have more complexity. Simple moments, they don't need to show that, but you can't deny that it does add quite a bit of depth to a game like this, because so often with these types of video games, in terms of like anime based on the, oh my god, they're inside VR and it's so complex. Yeah, sometimes they talk about the things like, yeah, the food tastes real good, or yeah, there's actually sensation like touch. But there's something about a show like this that goes into such little small details while also reminding you of the bigger ones to make it say like, holy shit, who wouldn't want to play this video game? Like, it legitimately is amazing. And I think one of the coolest things is how they're using the idea of the trash meets the really well-developed video game. So Sunraku is very good at using what he has at his disposal. He's very good at deflecting, blocking, but if he was to get any attacks in on any of these PKers, whether that's his longtime rival or any of the guilds she's a part of, he wouldn't lay a scratch on them. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. There was no way. Like, if you look at the big bosses that he's fought, including the top boss that we know of in this video game, he doesn't do damage because he isn't indestructible. The thing is like it is mentioned with Arthur in this episode, that all of the trash video games he played, there's so many skills and mechanics that he's picked up on that basically that is worth more than any legendary item in this video game. So ultimately, the higher level he gets, there's going to come a point where no one probably will be able to go up against Sunraku, and those who can, it's going to be the fight of their lives, which is pretty much what she's chasing after. And as we see with the video game that they met in, it's actually a pretty interesting video game at first glance, like surface level. The idea of pretty much like a kingdom in ruin. The idea's there, the whole idea that you gotta work really hard, but the drop rates were so bad, it turned into a video game where you just raid villages and steal from shop owners, or you PK or rob players, and ultimately you can really see how certain ideas kind of get twisted from their initial starting point, whether it's a game that was so buggy that you just try to outbug the other player, or you just start raiding and becoming loot simulator. It's just really cool what they do. But this was pretty much a non-stop action-packed episode, and there was a lot of comedy that was really fun. I like the idea that we knew Emil was going to transform because there was a time limit. I forget the exact amount, but we start seeing the ears, the tails. The other girl's kind of like, wait, did she always have that? And just to see her go from like adorable, like, oh my god, she has her own plush, to sometimes the faces and the tongue, I was like, oh god, we need to lock her up. She's just no good right now. But you have to admit, without her, we wouldn't have had the opportunity we did, because ultimately, there was no running away from her. Like, he's fast, but I don't think he was faster than Arthur. And then the idea that basically we launch like 4 or 5 different curses, then we have an item that pretty much debuffs all of them and then redirects it right back, to then end the episode with her diddle hand staff that's gonna be like, okay, you stop those, but can you stop this? And I'm like, bitch, I don't know. Can anyone stop anything? Like, we're just trying to get inside that gate, try to teleport back to Rabbit Village, and just no one's going according to plan. And without Psyger, I mean, we would have been dead. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Just dealing with Arthur was hard enough, and then you add in another 4 or 5 members of the PKing squad. Like, what do you do? Like, I think it's so interesting how they make Sunraku feel like he's incredibly talented. He's able to do a lot of insane things, but because of his level, he's not Superman. He's not going to one-punch his way through anything. And without reinforcements and certain moments, whether people he just met, people who he has no idea have been trying to find him for all this time, they're doing a really good job with world building, characterization, and most importantly, keeping the production high quality. So whether it's the music in the background getting you bobbing and weaving to this really clean art direction and funny moments, it's hard not to have an absolute blast every single week with a show like Shangri-La Frontier. I doubt we're going to go the direction of immediately Psyger's going to be like, oh, hey, I'm this girl who's always like, you know, in the shop trying to talk with you. No, it's not going to go that way. I highly suspect they aren't going to just keep on traveling from this moment. If they do, great, that would be very fun. But I do feel like we're almost sort of building an unlikely party in a way. You know, we obviously have the man we met, I think it was in last week's episode, who was playing the Buggy video game. He's going to be jumping in. We of course have Psyger-0, who obviously is a tank and built different, but if she was always traveling with us, I don't think there would be much of a challenge. So maybe it'll be kind of like certain circumstances she pops up and others she doesn't. But either way, the idea of having NPCs like Emil who pretty much feel just as alive and breathing as an actual player makes you actually connect to their character and not just brush them off as, oh, they're not real so they don't matter. No, like you legitimately feel a personality coming from them, whether in bunny form or in their humanoid form. And the idea that I honestly love the dynamic of two rivals who come from different video games who just want to clash with each other. But of course, you know, they're at a very different level right now. But the biggest reason why you would still want to fight someone like Sunraku, even though one hit from you probably would kill him, is the fact that his skill set is Batman's utility belt. He has something for everything, and we saw how long he held out against her for so long. And, you know, obviously, when he realized that he was getting close to probably either dying or not being able to parry as much as he is, he ran for the hills, and I don't blame the guy. And like I said, usually in circumstances where the character either gets a random power-up or someone randomly saves the day, it kind of feels like it's pulled from thin air, but not in this case. Like, she's literally been searching since the end of, I think it was the first episode, we got the first glimpse of her, and we've been building up into her. And it's not like she just magically discovered him, like she's been actively tracking him, and she got intel from her sister as soon as she logged in that day, so she knew exactly where to look. And obviously, I'm glad she did, because otherwise, I mean, this fight would have been over a lot quicker, and it'll be cool to see where they take it from here. Now, of course, those are my feelings on episode 6 of Shangri-La, so let me know what you're thinking down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course, ring that bell so you can get notified when I upload more videos to the channel. Like I mentioned, we have a full live reaction over on my Patreon if you're interested, and hey, while you're there, you also get a video shout-out. So today, we have Asakala, Neptune, Dontal Toe, Nathan Ramot, Christopher Stephenson, and Alex Ronco. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.